Good day, everyone. I am Christian Jainanta, your science teacher for Earth and Life Science subject. I am here now to discuss to you about Quarter 1, Module 7, Module 8, and Module 9. This involves the topic under the Earth Sciences. As we go along with the lesson, let us have first our prayer.
O labing makagagahom nga amay namon sa langit. Mahinuklugon nga laon nga tagtugas ang langit, hangin, kalayo, tubig kag duta. Tanda ining imong timawa, kabay ining pag-ampo, magadulot sa amon sang kabuhi nga himaya. Salamat sa mga bugay nga imo ginpaambit sa amon. Salamat sa kabuhi nga ginadulot mo sa amon nga himpit. Salamat sa maayo nga panahon kag ilabi na gid sang imo katutom sa amon. Bendisyone ang imo katawhan. Bendisyone ang ila mga palangabuhian. Bendisyone ang mga panggas sa amon mga talamnan. Bendisyone ang ilang paglugayawan sa iban nga kapungsuran. Kabay makalabot sila nga walay sablag sa ila pagapadulungan. Kag ilabi na gid, bendisyone ining isla sang Negros nga amon natawhan. Ginahalad namon ang ining pag-ampo para sa imo kadayawan.
Amen to that. And now let us have first a review of our previous lesson, which talk about the Earth's internal heat. So what is what? Okay, now let's have a review on Earth's internal heat, which is talk on Module 6 of our Earth and Life Science module. So there are two types of internal heat. The first one is the primordial, and ang ikaduwa is the radiogenic heat. Kung magambal kita nga primordial heat, it exists from the beginning or nagsugod gid sa umpisa. While ang radiogenic heat, it is produced by radioactivity. For example, ang chemical reaction sa pagsindi mo sang posporo, sa pagtutod mo, and so on and so forth. Amo na sila ang ginatawag nato nga radiogenic heat. And we have now the structure of the Earth. So what are the three major structure of the Earth? The first one is the crust or ang pinaka-outer layer or sa pinakagwa nga layer sang aton nga earth. The second one is the mantle, and the third one is the core. So the crust is composed of two. May duwa ka klase nga crust. The first one is continental crust and oceanic crust. For mantle, we have the upper mantle and the lower mantle. And the core, we have the inner core and the outer core. So that is the structure of the earth. Halin sa inner core, pakadto sa outer core, lower mantle, upper mantle, and the two type of crust, which is the continental and oceanic crust. So, in our lesson for magmatism, the main question is, what is a magma? Ano bala ang ginatawag naton nga magma? So when we say magma, it is composed of semi-liquid hot molten rocks located beneath the earth, specifically in the melted mantle rock and oceanic plate. Magamba kita gani magma, semi-liquid nga mga natunaw nga mga bato nga makita sa mantle kag sa aton nga oceanic plate. So amo na siya ang ginatawag naton nga magma. So ano ang difference between magma and a lava? Or ano ang kinalain sang duwa? Maghambal kita nga magma kag lava. So, lava is a molten rock that reached the Earth's surface through volcanic vent. Maghambal kita gani lava, amo na siya ang mga molten rock nga ara na sagwa sang surface sang Earth. While magamba kita nga magma, it is a molten rock stored under the Earth's surface. So, ara pa siya sa sulod sang Earth. So, the difference between lava and magma is that lava, ara sa gwa sang surface ng Earth, and magma, ara sa sulod sang surface sang Earth. So, when we say magmatism is the process under the Earth's crust where formation and movement of magma occur. Magamba kita gani magmatism, that is the formation and movement of magma sa sulod sang Earth's crust. This is specifically located in the lower part of the Earth's crust and the upper portion of the mantle known as a asthenosphere. So, magmatism occurs in the asthenosphere, meaning naara siya sa Earth's crust kag sa upper portion sang aton nga mantle. So, we have here the picture about magmatism. Sa sini nga picture, the asthenosphere, this is where the partial melting or the origin of magma. Dari na din nagakatunaw ang mga bato kag mahimo nga magma. Next layer is where the magma rises. After yan na natunaw, nagasaka na ang magma. And magma differentiation in magma reservoir, intrusion, stagnation, crystallization, intrusion, or underplating. Gisa ang magma nato nagatig-a na lang kay tungod wala siya guaan. Pero if there is too much pressure sa crust, for example, a volcano, magalupok siya. So there is a possibility of volcanic eruption or ang pagwa sang lava. So the magma present in the lower crust and the upper mantle of the earth is formed through the process of partial melting. So ang magma kanong sa lower crust sang aton nga earth naga-undergo sa ginatawag naton nga partial melting. Meaning ang mga bato nagakatunaw lang pero hindi tanan nga bato. For example, the solid rock contains the mineral quartz, as you can see in the picture. May mga quartz na siya. May feldspar, biotite, and hornblende. So, the next step, nagakatunaw na ang iban. And sa last part, minerals such as biotite and hornblende generally melt last, which changes the composition of the magma. Meaning, hindi tanan nga mga minerals na ara sa dalumsong earth nagakatunaw kag nagahimo nga magma. So melting in the mantle require one of the three possible events to occur. The first one, ang unang possible event is an increase in temperature. Nagataas ang temperatura sa dalom. The second one is a decrease in pressure. Naganubo ang pressure. And the third one is the addition of volatiles or volatile. Magamba kita gani ang volatiles, these are water, carbon dioxide nga naga-react sa aton nga magma. So the first one, an increase in temperature. As magma rises, it is often hot enough to melt the rock it touches. It happens at convergent boundaries where tectonic plates are crashing together. So magambal for an event, for example, an increase in temperature, this happens at convergent boundary. Ano gani magambal kita convergent boundary? These are boundaries that ang isa naga-slide padalom, ang isa naga-saka. The next scenario would be a decrease in pressure. Mantle rocks remain solid when exposed to high pressure. However, during convection, these rocks tend to go upward and the pressure is reduced. This triggers the melting of the magma and this is known as decompression melting. So, ang decrease in pressure naman niya, naga-occur during convection, meaning nagatiyog lang ang heat or ang isa ka boundary. This trigger the melting of the magma. Samtang nagatiyog ang heat based on our module 6, sa pagtiyog sang heat, nagakatunaw ang mga bato and it becomes a magma. And this is known as decompression melting. And this occurs sa aton nga mid-ocean ridges or sa dalom sang tubig. Next is the addition of volatiles, meaning substances that easily vaporize. So when water or carbon dioxide is added to hot rocks, flux melting occur. The melting points of mineral within the rock decreases and can trigger partial melting. This occurs in the subduction zone. So, ang addition of volatiles naga-occur kuno sa aton nga subduction zone, which has or amo na siya ang ginatawag naton nga flux melting. For example, sa sini nga picture, the subduction zone, kung masudlan sang water, maga-react dayon ang aton nga magma sa dari nga part. So, that's the point wherein ang aton nga magma nagasaka. And this create a volcanic eruption. So, as our activity on Module 7, page 12, we have the direction. Read the following statement and fill in the blanks. Based sa inyong module sa page 12, makita nyo na dara ang aton nga activity. So, number 1, blank is composed of blank hot molten rocks located beneath the earth, specifically in the melted mantle and oceanic plate. So, magma is composed of semi-liquid hot molten rocks located beneath the earth, specifically in the melted mantle and oceanic plate. Number 2, when magma solidifies, it creates igneous rocks found on the surface of the earth. So, number 2, when magma solidifies, it creates what? Okay, it creates igneous rock. So, for number 3, magma is found in the magma chamber of the volcano, while lava is found on the surface of the earth once the volcano erupts. So, magma ara sa sulod sang magma chamber sang volcano. While ang lava ara na sa surface of the earth once the volcano erupt. So, ang lava ara sa gwa, ang magma ara sa sulod. Number 4, magmatism is a process under the Earth's crust where formation and movement of magma occur. So, dari naman niya, ang magmatism ko, no, it is where the formation and the movement of magma. So, it is a process sa dalom sang aton nga Earth's crust. Number 5, magma is composed of elements, silicon, and oxygen. So, magma is mostly composed of silicon and oxygen. So, as an assessment, for question number 1, what term is used to describe a semi-liquid hot molten rocks located beneath the earth? A. Lava. B. Magma. C. Rock. D. Sand. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer is letter B. It is magma. Number 2, in what part of the earth does magmatism happen? A stenosphere. B, crust or Earth's crust. Letter C, Earth's core. D, lithosphere. 5 seconds. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is letter A, the astenosphere or the asthenosphere. For number 3, what are the two most abundant elements in the magma? A, oxygen and iron. B, oxygen and magnesium. C, silicon and aluminum. D, silicon and oxygen. So the correct answer is letter D, silicon and oxygen. Number 4, what process occurs if there are formation and movement of magma under the Earth's crust? So ano kuno nga process? A, flux melting. B, heat transfer. C, partial melting. D, decompression melting. So what is the answer? So letter C, it is partial melting. Number 5, which of the following is not a factor of partial melting? A, addition of volatiles. B, a decrease in pressure. C, an increase in pressure. D, an increase in temperature. So what is your answer? The answer is letter C, an increase in pressure. So there are only 3 factors of partial melting. The first one is addition of volatiles. B, a decrease in pressure. And letter D, an increase in temperature. Very good. So now we have the change in mineral components and texture of rocks for quarter 1, module 8. Now we have module 8. So our objectives for module 8 is that we have to describe the physical and chemical changes in rocks due to the changes in pressure and temperature. So that is called metamorphism. And compare and contrast the formation of the different types of igneous rocks. So what is metamorphism? Ano bala ang ginatawag naton nga metamorphism? Metamorphism comes from the Greek word meta or nagalin siya kano sa Greek word nga ginatawag nga meta, which means change, and morph, which means form. So meta, change, and morph is form. So it is a change in the form. So metamorphism is the change that takes place within a body of rock as a result of it being subjected to conditions that are different from those in which it is formed. Meaning kuno, ang original nga bato kung kung nag-undergo sa mga certain condition, naga-change ang ini nga mga bato. So there is a change. Let us remember that when we say metamorphism, there is always a change. Pares na bala sa butterfly halin sa caterpillar, nag-morph into a butterfly. So pares man sa mga bato. So all types of rock can change. Ang tanan kuno nga bato mahimo nga lain. So metamorphic rock originally started out as different types of rock. Because of pressure deep within the earth, they melt and change. Sa tamaan ka pressure, tunaw ini nga mga bato kag na form nga lain. For example, we have the granite. Granite becomes gneiss. And another example is that a sandstone becomes a quartzite. So these are halin sa granite, nahimo siya kano nga gneiss, and halin sa sandstone, nahimo siya nga quartzite. So we have here an activity. Identify the words which are related to the process of metamorphism by writing the words on the opposite box. So, ari mi answer na ta. This is on your page 5 of your module 8. So, heat, volcanic rock, pressure, ara ang pressure, fluid, maka-change man kuno sa mga rocks, mantle, correct, temperature, correct. Weathering and cementation does not belong to metamorphism. So ini lang nga mga words ang nabilong sa metamorphism or sa process of metamorphism. So metamorphism is formed at the surface of the earth through the process of metamorphism with recrystallization of minerals in rock due to the changes in pressure and temperature condition. So, ang metamorphism kuno, that is recrystallization of minerals or naga-crystallize di ba natunaw na siya? After yan natunaw, ma-undergo siya recrystallization tungod sa mga pressure kag temperature or sa pagbag-o sang pressure kag pagbag-o sang temperature sa bato. So this is a picture or a scheme of metamorphic rock identification. So we will be discussing this, and this is also in your modules. So there are different types of metamorphism. We have here the regional and the contact heat. So let us discuss this. So there are three factors of metamorphism. The first one is heat. So when we say heat or ang init, this is the most important factors because it provides energy to drive the chemical changes which result in the recrystallization of minerals. The heat increases as the depth increases. So sa sini, ang kainiton kuno sa metamorphism naga-increase kung padalom na siya. For example, lapit siya sa mantle, meaning init siya. Or dasig ang pag-melt sang bato and the changes that occurs. So, another agent of metamorphism is what we call pressure. Just like heat, it also increases with depth. And the buried rocks are subjected to the force or stress. Meaning, for example, ang ini nga bato, natabunan siya sang damo-damo or sang pila ka bukid. Meaning, dako-dako ang pressure nga ara sa iya. meaning there is a big chance nga grabe ang changes nga matabo sa iya. And the last one, agent of metamorphism, is what we call chemically active fluid. So when we say chemically active fluids, this enhances the metamorphic process or ginapadasig ya kuno ang process ng metamorphism. Usually, the common fluid which help the chemical activity is water-containing ions. In solution, as the rock are buried deeply, the water is forced out of the rock and becomes available to aid in chemical reaction. So, for example, ang bato, na-expose siya sa tubig na may mga different minerals or ions. And nagadasig ang iya nga metamorphic process or grabe ang changes na nagakatabo sa iya. So these are the different types of metamorphic rock. As you can see in the picture, we have here the foliated and non-foliated. So anong kinalain ni foliated kag ni non-foliated? Based on the picture, ang foliated may mga layers, may mga layer by layer or makita gid naton nga may layering katabo. While sa non-foliated, ang mga particles wala siya na layer or nagalapta lang siya. So we have another type of metamorphism. We have the regional and the contact metamorphism. So these two types of metamorphism makita naton sa picture nga ang contact metamorphism is mainly by heat due to contact with magma. So may may direct contact siya sa magma or natandugan siya sa magma. That's why there is metamorphism. But when we say regional metamorphism, this is due to the changes in pressure and temperature over large region of the crust. This happens naman niya sa mga bukid, sa mga continental crust. For example, sa dari nga part, there is low temperature and high pressure because ara siya sa dalom sang crust. While sa dari naman, sa tunga, we have high temperature and high pressure. Nga makambal kita nga high temperature ina because lapit siya sa magma chamber or sa magma. Pero wala siya gatandog sa aton nga magma. Kay kung once nga magtandog na, it is called a contact metamorphism. Amo nang kinalain sang duwa. So another type is lineation and recrystallization of minerals. Magambal kita ya non-foliated, meaning wala na layer or wala layer na makita. While recrystallization, it is foliated, meaning naga-align ang mga minerals. Muna siya ginatawag naton kagina nga foliated kag non-foliated. An example of foliated, magambal kita gani foliated luwat, there is a layer. Like for example, gneiss and phyllite. As you can see sa picture, may mga layers sang mga minerals na makita sa bato. Another, we have foliated. May layers sa cis and sa slate. While sa slate hindi mo siya makita nga nagalain color pero mabalaan mo sa iya nga formation. Kay tungod nga kung bukon mo siya, naga-layer siya. So this is an example of non-foliated metamorphic rocks. We have the hornfels and the pink marble. So as you can see, wala sang layer sa hornfel kag sa pink marble. Another example of non-foliated is the quartzite and the scran. Muna siya ang mga bato nga under sa non-foliated metamorphic rock. So any question sa aton nga non-foliated metamorphic rock or sa aton nga metamorphism? Any question? If you have question, comment sa aton nga comment box or PM me for clarification. Chindihan. Now let's go to module 9. Okay, for module 9, we will be discussing all about igneous rock. So, igneous rock, we have here the different learning objective. We have the different types of igneous rock, distinguish intrusive from extrusive igneous rock, differentiate igneous rock based on silica content, and differentiate the different texture of igneous rock. So, amo ni ang aton nga objectives. So, this is an example of a volcano, Canlaon volcano. So, where can we find Canlaon volcano? Okay, Canlaon volcano can be found in the island of Negros. How about Mayon? Mayon volcano is found in Bicol region. And Taal volcano, it can be found in the island of Luzon. So what are igneous rock? Igneous rock are one of the three major category of rock. The word igneous is derived from the Latin word for fire, which is ignis or ignus. So, as a review, what are the three major categories of rock? The first one is igneous rock, second is sedimentary rock, and the third is metamorphic rock. So, these rocks are commonly found in the surface and beneath the earth, specifically in divergent boundaries, convergent boundaries, subduction zone, and hotspot. So not all igneous rock have the same physical and chemical characteristic. They differ in the origin, process, or of formation, color, density, size of grain, crystals, and many more. So there are different types kuno of igneous rock. So how are igneous rocks formed? Paano kuno nabuo ang isa ka igneous rock? So igneous rock are formed through the process of solidification and crystallization of molten rocks. Example of this is a magma and a lava. So magamba ka gani igneous rock, it is formed from a magma or a lava. That's why our module 8 talks about magmatism. This concludes that igneous rocks comes from the process of magmatism. So the origin of igneous rock, there are two origins. The first one is extrusive and the second one is intrusive. When we say extrusive, from ang una-unang letter is E and X. X meaning ara sa gwa. That's why extrusive. It is formed on the surface ng earth. While ang second type of igneous rock is what we call intrusive. It is formed underground or what we call plutons or plutonic, meaning ara sa sulod sang earth. That's why in. So tandaan naton nga ang extrusive, it is formed on the surface of the earth, while intrusive rock are formed on or inside the earth or formed underground. So when we say extrusive rocks or also known as volcanic rocks, nga ginatawag sila nga volcanic rocks because it is formed outside of the earth. 'Di ba? Ang lava nagagwa sa mga volcano. That's why they are called volcanic rocks. It is formed above the ground when lava flows or explode from a volcano. And when we say intrusive rocks, also known as plutonic rocks, they are formed underground from magma. So, extrusive halin sa lava, intrusive halin sa magma. So, these are the differences between intrusive and extrusive rocks. This can also be found on your module number 9, all about igneous rock. So, this is an example, or these are the example of intrusive igneous rock. We have here the granite and the gabbro. And another example for extrusive igneous rock. This is what we call obsidian, basalt, and rhyolite. So we have the texture. Ano ang kinalain sang itsura sa mga igneous rock? Texture depend on the size and shape of crystals when the rock forms due to the cooling rate of rocks. For example, rapid cooling. It produces fine grains and small crystals. Meaning kung dasig nagbugnaw ang isa ka magma or a lava, gagmay ang iyang crystals. This is associated with extrusive rocks. Ano ganit magambag kita extrusive? Nag-form sa gwa sang earth. So, ang rapid cooling ko, no, it is associated with extrusive rocks, meaning laban-laban nga extrusive rocks naga-undergo sa rapid cooling. For example, pag lupok sang bulkan, nag-flow si lava. 'Di ba? Pag expose siya sa hangin, nagbugnaw dayon si lava. And this create an igneous rock or an extrusive rock. Example of this is andesite. The second one is the slow cooling, which produces coarse grain with large crystal. Let us all remember when we say rapid cooling, gagmay ang crystals, while slow cooling, mas dagko ang crystals. And this is associated with intrusive rocks, meaning na-form nga mga igneous rocks sa sulod sang earth. Example is the diorite. So what are the types of igneous rock based on the composition? So, di ba, ang mga igneous rock, they are composed of silicon and oxygen or silica, which is SiO2. So, kung jutay or damo ang silicon content or silica content sa bato, naga-change ang iyang characteristic. For example, the first type of texture in igneous rock is the ultramafic igneous rock. They have a very low silica content, less than 45% of silicon dioxide or silica, and before forming into igneous rock, its magma has a very low viscosity. Magambag kita gani viscosity, amo na siya ang kadasigon sang flow sang isa ka butang. For example, kung low ang iyang viscosity, hinay ang iyang pag-flow. Its color is range to black to olive green, meaning ang iya kuno nga color halin sa black pakadto sa olive green. Ang ilang density taas, ang ilang composition nga minerals is pyroxene and olivine materials, and these rocks sample of these rocks are peridotite and dunite. So this is an example of the peridotite and dunite. So as you can see in the picture, ay ila color halin sa black pakadto sa may pagka-green. So that is the characteristic of ultramafic igneous rock. So the next type is a mafic igneous rock. They have a very low silica content, 45 to 52% of silica, and nagaform sila or ang ilang nga formation sang magma is low viscosity or mas viscous than ultramafic magma. So mas ano siya, mas or ang iya nga mas dasig ang iya nga pagflow sang sa ultramafic magma. Then they are black in color, density is high, they are composed of pyroxene, calcium-rich plagioclase feldspar. Example are gabbro and basalt. So amo na yung tsura sila. Though mas darker siya sang sa aton nga ultramafic. The next one is the intermediate igneous rock. Meaning ang iyang silica content 53 to 65, meaning ara sa tunga-tunga. Before forming into igneous rock, its magma has intermediate viscosity, more viscous than the mafic magma. Ang ilang color is gray. Their density is intermediate. They are composed of biotite, alkali, feldspar, and quartz. Example of this rock are diorite and andesite. So this is the picture of an intermediate igneous rock. We have the andesite and the diorite. As you can see, ang ilang tsura is grayish in color. Now we have the felsic igneous rock. Very high silica content, more than 65. Before forming into igneous rock, its magma has high viscosity and more viscous than the intermediate magma. They have light color, meaning mas sanag sila sa other three types of igneous rock. Ang density is low. They are composed of quartz and alkali feldspar. Example of this rock are granite and rhyolite. So this is the picture for granite and rhyolite. So this is the diagram for the different types of rocks. So as you can see sa picture, felsic is light, intermediate, nagaamat-amat siya dark. Felsic, intermediate, mafic, and ultramafic. Ang silicon, halin sa 70, nag-60, nag-50, and 40%. Meaning, suli siya. Kung ang iyang color, halin sa light pakadto sa dark, ang iya naman yung silicon, halin sa taas, nagapanubo. And suli man siya sa iyang magnesium oxide or MgO. Halin sa 0.95, nag-2.5, nag-15%, and nahimo na siya nga 48%. So what are the types of igneous rock based on texture sa ila naman niya nga physical appearance? So the first one is the phaneritic texture. When we say phaneritic, meaning may dalagko siya nga mga minerals nga kitaon. For example, ang granite. As you can see in the picture, namo siya sang mga minerals nga makita. Miskan wala ka pa microscope, makita mo gid ang mga minerals because of its texture. The second one is a phanitic texture. Meaning, the mineral grains are too small to see with the unaided eye. Dapat may kagid, may microscope or may magnifying glass para makita mo ang mga minerals nga ara-dara. For example, is the basalt. The next one is the vesicular texture. Vesicular texture have pits from gas escape, meaning may mga buho-buho sila. Example of this is scoria type basalt. Basalt siya nga may buho-buho. So, ano ang causes ng sini nga mga buho? So, this is where the gas escape, meaning may mga bubbles nga nag-form sa 'Di ba? For example, magma siya, ano siya, nag-amat-amat siya tig-a. May mga bubbles nga dara nga nadula at the end of time. That's why may nabilin nga mga formation, nga mga pits or mga buho. The next one is the porphyritic texture. Rocks have two distinct grain size, large and small. Examples are andesite porphyry. Meaning, may duwa siya klase nga mga grain size or mga particles. Just like here, may isa ka type, may isa naman ka diri, gagmay. Bidlag ko siya kag may gagmay nga mga grain sizes. The next one is what we call glassy texture. Or do pareha siya sa glass. Rocks do have obvious minerals. Sample is the obsidian. So, muna siya. So, as for the activity, number 1, we have to describe the different types of igneous rock. And we have to supply the missing information to complete the table below. This can be seen in your module, your activity. So let us answer it. So the first one is the rhyolite. The type of rock is extrusive. Ano ganit magambag kita extrusive? It is formed outside. Magambal ka outside, it is a lava. And magambal kita lava, ano na siya? Fast or slow? It is fast because of the presence of air. The next one is gabbro. Gabbro or may ara na taklo, slow. Magambal kita slow, ano na siya? It is intrusive, ara siya sa sulod. And it is magma. Itungod ara siya sa sulod, it is a magma. Number 5 and 6, granite, intrusive. Magamba kita intrusive, di nag-form sa sulod, which is a magma. And ang crystal size siya, it is large. As you can see in the picture, may dagko siya nga mga particles. That's why it is slow. Magamba kita gan is slow. Dagko ang mga particles. So, number 7 and 8, no crystals, meaning fast dasig ang pag-form. And lava, magambal kita lava gani, ano siya gani? It is extrusive, meaning sagwa siya nag-form. And the last one, for 9 and 10, magambal kita nga obsidian, nag-form from a lava, magambal kita lava, extrusive. And kung fast siya, wala siya sang crystals or there is no crystals in a fast cooling rate. So for activity number 2, we have the crossword puzzle. Yes, that is the answer for activity number 2. And this can also be seen in your module. So across number 1, rocks have two distinct grain size. That is porphyritic. The mineral grains are too small to see with an unaided eye. That is aphanitic. Rocks have many pits from gas escape. That is vesicular. For down 1, rocks have a large minerals. That is phaneritic. Number 4, rocks do have obvious minerals. That is glassy. So that is the different texture of an igneous rock. To sum it up, for a direction, read the following statement and fill in the blanks with the correct term or phrase. The word igneous is derived from the Latin word for fire, which is ignis or ignus. Number 2, igneous rock are commonly found in the surface and beneath the earth or below the earth. Pwede man na siya. Specifically in divergent boundaries, convergent boundaries, subduction zone, and hotspots. Number 3, igneous rocks are formed through the process of solidification and crystallization of molten rocks, magma, and lava. Number 4, in terms of formation, igneous rock can be classified into two, intrusive and extrusive. Let us remember nga ang intrusive na form sa sulod, extrusive na form sa gwa. Intrusive rocks are formed solidified magma, while extrusive rocks are formed from solidified lava. Magamagang na intrusive magma gina sa dayon. Extrusive lava. Mo gina sa tandaan naton. Intrusive sa sulod magma, extrusive sa gwa lava. Intrusive rocks cool slowly, while extrusive rocks cool quickly. 7. Intrusive rocks have large grains and crystals, while extrusive have small or no grains and crystals. Number 8, igneous rock can also be classified according to their composition. They are composed of silica or silicon and oxygen. They are called silica. There are 4 classifications of igneous rock based on silica content. We have the ultramafic, mafic, felsic, and intermediate. So, 4 na sila based sa silica content. Number 10, felsic has the highest amount of silica while ultramafic has the lowest. Number 11, felsic is the most viscous while ultramafic is the least. Meaning, sulianay gina sila permi. Ultramafic has the darkest color while felsic has the lightest. Number 13, ultramafic is the densest while felsic is the lightest. 14, ultramafic is exposed to high temperature while felsic is exposed to lowest temperature. 15, the higher the silica content is, the lighter the color is, and the lower silica content is, the darker the color. So sa number 15, mas nataas gani ang silica content, mas sanag siya or mas light ang color sang rock. Kung lower ang silica content, mas naga-dark ang color sang bato. So, as a review, igneous rock, may duwa na siya kaklase based sa ilang formation. Intrusive, or ginatawag na siya naton nga plutonic, meaning sa sulod siya sang earth na form. Extrusive or volcanic igneous rock are formed outside or sagwa na siya sang earth. Intrusive is magma, extrusive is lava. So the next one is the classification of igneous rock based on silicon content or silica. Ultramafic igneous rock, mafic igneous rock, intermediate igneous rock, and felsic igneous rock. So, amo na siya. May 4 ka klase sang igneous rock based on the silicon content. So, for igneous rock, based on its texture, may 5 naman ka klase sang igneous rock. Kung basihan naton ang iyang texture. The first one is phaneritic. Next is aphanitic. Next, vesicular. Next is the porphyritic. And last is the glassy texture. So, any question sa aton nga module 9? If you have question, you can contact me on your group chat or any other forums or social media groups or SMS, social medias on Monday, and with complete name, grade and section, and the module number. So I will be giving instruction as I post this virtual session. So thank you very much and God bless.